Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Copper Jacket TV. So I think that most gun control activists know that they're fighting an uphill battle. They're working against the Constitution, against the Second Amendment, and our rights will prevail in the end. So instead of going after firearms, what are they doing now? Well, they're trying to model things after California, going after ammunition with background checks and a lot more regulation. So let's talk about what's going on. Now, real quick, before we get started, I just want to thank you all very much for watching. If you haven't done so already, hit that little bell notification, that little subscribe button. It's free, and it only takes a second, and you can stay on top of your Second Amendment rights. Also, join the conversation down below. Get into the comments. That's where a lot of the great conversations really happen. So make sure that you leave a comment and let your voice be heard. And trust me, it gets pretty good down there sometimes. So check out the comment section when you have a minute. So if you didn't know, California, on top of having some of the strictest gun control in the entire country, also has some pretty strict regulations when it comes to ammunition. You can't simply go online, purchase something, and have it sent to your house. It has to go to a licensed vendor or an FFL. After it arrives, you have to go down there, you have to show them your identification, you have to fill out some paperwork, pay a fee, and undergo a background check. Sometimes there's some false positives. In the very beginning, there was quite a few where people were being denied even though they've never been in trouble their entire lives and were not legally disqualified, and so they weren't able to get anything at all. This included active duty law enforcement, military, and so forth. People were having a lot of problems with this, but that's what you have to do in the state of California. It's extremely, extremely restrictive. Well, other states have taken notice. They want to do the same thing, and so they're looking at implementing something similar, if not identical, to what California has. And it looks like the first state who is floating that idea, or, well, there's other states that have something similar, but the first state that's floating the idea of exactly what California has is going to be New Jersey. Now, New Jersey already has some pretty big new laws that are going to be taking effect in 2023 and 2024 surrounding ammunition. They basically want to create a database. So they want the seller to maintain records on site that are searchable by law enforcement upon request. These records would indicate the person, the amount they bought, what type they bought, and so forth. So basically, all of the pertinent information to that transaction has to be maintained on site and searchable for law enforcement. What it doesn't include yet would be that background check. So again, I think it's the background check that's going to be coming next. So Gifford seems to be leading the way on this. As a matter of fact, they've brought up California multiple times in the past. They're bringing it up again now, where they're saying that buying ammunition is easier than buying a pizza. We've all heard these ridiculous claims that people make. You know, we've heard them all in the past. But that's the claim that Giffords is making. And so now you have the Attorney General of New Jersey kind of floating the idea that if we really want to stop some of this crime, we want to stop what's happening in our state, maybe we need to do what California is doing. Maybe we need to start regulating ammunition in the same way. And I feel extremely bad for the people of New Jersey because lawmakers in that state have basically abandoned their oath and are not serving the people. They are actively working against the Constitution and the Second Amendment. And lately, they have just been on a spree of unconstitutional new laws, rules, and regulations. And this seems to be just their next step. Now, there's nothing that's going to come of this immediately, but once you hear top-ranking officials in a state like the Attorney General start talking about stuff like this, you could almost be guaranteed that it's going to show up in the next legislative session. That's usually how things go. I've heard, Gavin Newsom, when he was lieutenant governor of the state of California, floating different ideas and different concepts and things that he could come up with to implement new gun control in the state. Sure enough, next legislative session, it was there. The Attorney General, Becerra, Bonta, all of these people who start talking about these things, all of a sudden it becomes legislation, and then the bill gets passed, a little bit later on down the road. But you really need to pay attention to comments like these because it shows you exactly what they're thinking. It shows you what they're planning. Now, in my opinion, the reason that you're seeing a lot of these kind of strange new laws be implemented across the country, like the CCIA in New York, in New Jersey, the issues that they're having in Illinois and so forth, is because of Bruen. I think a lot of these states know that there's lawsuits challenging just about all of their gun control that's currently in the state. And I think that these challenges have a much better chance now of winning because of Bruen. So they're looking to alternatives. They're looking for alternative ways to impose some type of restriction. And this is just one of those new ways where something like this hasn't really been litigated all the way up to the Supreme Court yet. And say they know that if they implement it, even if it gets challenged, you could be looking at years years going through the court system before, the people would actually see any type of relief. So again, while that's just my opinion, that's why I think we've seen things actually get worse since Bruen. I think they're going to get worse before they get better, but eventually I think you're going to see a lot of big wins here coming up. As early as 2023, I think we're going to start seeing some pretty major wins on our side. So we just got to follow everything closely. But again, while New Jersey is just floating this idea, you can almost be guaranteed that we're going to see something about it in the legislature soon. So we'll pay attention to that. If it does hit, I will let you all know. Thank you all very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Please like, subscribe. You guys have a great day.